Hi, especially Anya, but anyone else who's watching this video who it might be helpful for. I'm just going to walk through today, and I'm going to read my presentation. This is a really cool day. I'm just going to jump in. Today is Wednesday. Good, I'm on the right campus page. Science, science, science. The mascots are getting bigger today. Day 2. Yesterday, we covered a very general overview of cells. We learned that cells can be very different. However, they share the same basic components, and we will learn about them, these basic components, starting today. We will focus only on animal cells. Plant cells are a little different, and as many of you noticed yesterday, bacterial cells are also different. We're studying animal cells because we're animals, but we could be doing a different one. But yeah, whatever it is, we'll figure it out together. We're always here for each other. We're always willing to share our problems and help each other be successful and just work together. School is more fun that way. Life is more fun that way. That's what makes our school great. So here's the Today You Will. Remember, just go to the Today You Will if you're ever confused about what to do. Today You Will. 1, consider the basic organization of an animal cell and learn about the cell membrane. We learned that life had to be organized, so let's learn about the organization of cells, the smallest unit of life. 2, stretch break. Yeah, got to take your stretch breaks, folks. 3, create an awesome journal page about the first organelle that we're studying, the cell membrane. Big shout out to Jennifer Brossard, hope I'm saying that correctly, also known as Lily's mom, for sharing some photos of cells from her work. Thank you. You're going to enjoy them, I think. You're going to turn in some journal work today. I'm hoping this works out. There's a video here that might help you to do that. It's a little funky with the Chromebooks and uploading a photo to Google. You'll see. If there's time, go back to the how small is a cell. It's going to be more exciting today because you're going to know more and there's going to be more for you to pay attention to. You can also do that. And then if time, yeah, anyhow. What is a cell? The smallest unit of life. Who are you going to tell? Everyone in my life. My first organelle, the cell membrane. Okay, here it is. So here's the cell model project. I'm just going to go ahead and make this big. Oh, before I do, the assignments are down here if you're going to turn them in. Science 1, the one from yesterday, if you didn't get to turn that in, and Science 2. Okay, new brain break today also. Cool. Here we go. Cell model project, introduction to the project. So in this document, to go over through, what is cell model project? What is an organelle? So the project, we're each going to make some sort of a model of a cell. Model meaning a lot of different things. So this could demonstrate our knowledge of how a cell works and show our ability to share what we know as scientists. We'll have a lot of resources to help us with this project. The most important resource is going to be your notes, which you're creating like this week. The project is not going to, it's going to take a little time because we have to learn and then we have to do it. So creativity is really encouraged. Kind of like I said yesterday, you're going to come up with some really cool stuff. A poster, a PowerPoint, I don't know what you're going to do. It's going to be awesome. Cells have parts, and together we're going to focus on the most important ones. There are many different parts that make a cell work, but we're going to focus on the big, most important ones, and you may find time to learn about some others along the way. Cell parts are usually referred to as organelles, at least the major ones are. I wonder why. Organelle. 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 It means, literally translates to little organ. Of course, cells are tiny, microscopic, and so the little parts that make it work, the ones that are big enough to be, their own little unit, are little organs. So today we will do our first organelle, the cell membrane. So here's a typical cross-section of an animal cell, which means you take an animal cell and you slice it so you can see just like looking into it. They're actually, as many of you saw, they're not flat, they have shape. Especially if you went to that 3D viewer. But if you were to slice it and just look at it straight down, and the membrane is what we're paying attention to today. That's the outer, so here it is. It's the outer portion here. It's drawn as 2 lines on the outside of a cell because it has 2 layers. So what is the cell membrane? It might be best to first just look at some cells. So I'm going to share some images with you. The membrane has a really important job. It separates the outside world from the inside of the cell. It is a barrier. Keeps the inside in, the outside out. It also has an important job in maintaining this control of what should come into the cell, what should leave the cell. Some things have to get in, some things have to get out, because cells need to get energy, they need to get rid of waste, and so on. So with this next one, our scientist here is saying, try to see the outline of each cell. The dark spot in each cell is the nucleus you'll probably see in the pictures I'm showing you. each cell has just one. And we'll learn more about what that is later, but you can use it as like, oh, that's one. Oh, that's one. So let's take a look. Before we do that, there's a website you're going to see later. It's called biologyforkids.com. I think it's helpful. It has some pretty simple explanations of different things, and then they get more complicated as you read more. It compares the cell membrane to like a plastic bag with holes in it, and I love this picture. It's beautiful. Cells are not plastic bags. They're not made of plastic. But the idea that the membrane is like this thin plastic bag that keeps things in is a good, reasonable way to think about it. Now, of course, the membrane has the ability to let things come in and out, but you know, when we're starting and trying to build our understanding of an idea, it's sometimes good to break things down this way. And today you'll have an opportunity to go to this website and read more. There's way more detail at the bottom. It's awesome. And there's way more stuff here. Anyway, as promised, some cell photos. Credit to Lily's mom, Jennifer Brossard, for sending these in. So one of these is a healthy functioning tissue, and there's many cells. And one of them is actually cancerous tissue. I think this is the cancerous one because things look all messed up. But you should be able to see each dark spot is, I think, a nucleus, and then you can see the outline of cells as the membrane. It's kind of hard to see, but it's pretty cool. I hope you are able to see that. Giant air bubble, lots of emptiness space. What is going on over here? And we'll zoom in a little bit. You can, hopefully you can tell like these outer sections. That's membrane, membrane, membrane. Yep. Zoom in on the other one. Things are a little funky here, right? Things look a little messed up. Okay. So what is the membrane? This video shows you what the membrane is at the molecular level. What does that mean? The level of molecules, level of things that are really tiny. Well, bonus, remember that like how big is a cell thing you could go on the slider for? I'll do it at the end of this video if you want to hang on to the very end of that. You can actually see like how big these little parts of the cell membrane are on it. But first, you know, you should watch this video on your own, but I just want to point out, this video is super old, but it's such a good explanation of like, if here's a cell's membrane, here's the outside of a cell, notice it's not flat, right? What it's really like is this collection of these molecules that are actually fluid and moving and movable. So that's why it's more like a plastic bag than like a hard thing. There are certain things that can be in the membrane to make things hard, different things, but at the basic level, it's this like slippery kind of ever-moving thing that keeps the outside out and the inside in, and it allows the cell to be flexible. This video is now showing you some of the things that are in the membrane that allow it to do different things. Sense the outside world, allow things to pass through, and so on and so on. See, that's a pore that might allow an important thing to come in and out, like say food. That would be like some kind of food item, and that might be some kind of other things. Which is pretty awesome. Yeah, this video is great, and I will let you take a look at it. It's on this set of resources. So your assignment today is to create a journal entry called Cell Parts, Organelles, My First Organelle, the Cell Membrane. I know, it's a huge title. Sorry, really long title. So draw an amazing drawing, please. A drawing that points out the membrane, especially. Write what an organelle is, generally speaking, and then what in general, so I'm just rewriting the question. What in general is an organelle? Explain the cell membrane. Remember, this is a journal page about organelles, but also we're doing our first one, the cell membrane. So explain what the cell membrane is and what the job of the cell membrane is. Use the resources. I'd encourage you to like read a little more, or like as you're writing, you probably want to go and be like, hey, I want to watch that video Mr. Robinson said was good. I want to go to that website Mr. Robinson said was good. You have a lot of time on this, so take your time. Enjoy experiencing and learning so that your journal entry is awesome. The third bullet, compare the cell membrane to something inside a factory, a castle, a city, or in a person. These comparisons, like the comparison of the bag, it makes our understanding deeper. So demonstrate your understanding. Compare it to something interesting. Explain why your comparison works. Bonus, write about why you think we did the cell membrane first. And then here's a link to the website that I showed you, but here's also a link to the website. Here's the cell membrane, the video that I just showed you, if you just want to go to this page. And here's a brain pop that you can watch. I'm really encouraging you to watch. So that's my presentation. And if you scroll down in exploration, there's all the videos and links that I just showed you. So here's a link to that cell membrane video, just the same stuff. Here's a link to the brain pop, really great. Here's a link to that website, awesome. If you want to watch the brain pop with a British voice, or if you want to watch it without a British voice, you can click on either link. And then the how small is a cell, I promised I'll do that at the end, and I will. So if you go to the assignment 2 for turning things in, you will find everything I just told you had to be in the journal page, and then this presentation again. And of course, you could click to the end of the presentation to find the links again. I put the links like in 4 places so you wouldn't lose them. Cool. Well, I hope this is helpful. And like I said, I'll just show you. If you go to the scale piece, yeah, if you go to this, and I encourage you to do it yourself, you can zoom in, you can find the phospholipids, which are the things that are in that cell membrane. So how small are these little parts of a cell membrane? So here's your typical red skin cell, red blood cell, sperm cell. These are like cells that, sperm's actually not technically a cell. These are all things that we could say like that's a cell, that's a cell. These are about the same size as a cell. Then boom, look how much smaller you have to get. You still can't see a part of the membrane. You still can't see a part of the membrane. Now we're looking at viruses. Here's the flu virus. Still smaller than that, still smaller than that, still smaller than that. Now we're talking about individual tiny parts. And then we finally find this phospholipid. It's on the same size scale of like a single atom because it's made up of maybe 300 atoms or 50 atoms, somewhere depending on how small it is. I think 300 is probably a good guess, depending on how big they are. There you go. Cool. 300 might be too many, maybe more like 100. Anyways, I'm rambling now, and I think you have all the information you need, and you maybe even didn't get to the end of this video. But if you did, awesome. Just remember that Today You Will should have what you need. I hope this is helpful. I'm here by email if it's not, so just send me an email. And then I probably hopefully said this in my email, but when you're watching these videos where I explain everything, pausing when you're like, okay, Mr. Robinson, that's enough, and then coming back is always a good idea. I know it's like a lot of information. And if this what could have been more helpful in some way, again, just email me and be like, hey, Mr. Robinson, I wish that you did this a little bit differently so that I could understand, because I want to be helpful. And if Anya, if you're still listening, by the way, that last journal page, rock on, super good, super cool. Really nice job. I'm going to stop recording now because this has been a while.